perfect. She's got about an 1/8 inch on the bottom. So she's got the clearance and she's resting on the bottom 2x3, which is exactly the way I wanted it to do. And there's about an 1/8 inch or even as much as a 1/4 inch all around the two sides and the top. So there's no binding action there at all. So the next step is to bring it back on the bench and nail it all up. We'll do that off camera and we'll come back on the video when I get it all nailed. Okay, just like the roof, I drew the lines and put the nails in. Now she's very rigid. Very rigid. We're going to work out some kind of locking mechanism. Not sure yet, but I got a couple of ideas here. Because this is going to have to be removed by 2 handles, which I might be able to get at the dollar store. They still have them. So I can just pick it right up. I'll be making the door for this, but before I do anything more, before I actually start the next door, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to do today. It's supposed to rain later this evening, I guess. I'm going to get a coat of oil base on this if I have enough. We're going to get messy and paint this damn thing. I'm not too worried about the 2x3s. I'm concerned with the plywood, so I want to just paint redwood here at the edges and all the way around. I've got the watercolor stuff over there, the bare watercolors, which looks good, but as I said, doesn't do anything for protecting the wood. And we're not using that. We're going to use the oil base on here, and we should have enough for that. Before I paint that, I'm going to make this other door, because that way when I get dirty with the paint, I'm only going to get dirty one time. And that'll be the last thing I do for today. I haven't decided how I'm going to lock that yet, but over a cup of coffee or two, I'll think of an idea how to do it. But anyways, right now I want to make this door right here, which is going to be on hinges. And the first thing I want to do is to make a little, like a step. And I'll show you where it's going to be and why I'm going to do that. I've got plenty of 2x3s. But I want to use a 2x4 in there, but I don't see why I couldn't use it for cosmetic reasons, I guess. I want to put a piece over here. 2x4. All the way across. Because you want to put it like this, so that this door closes, it closes on in here. This will be like a threshold. In other words, there ain't going to be any threshold up here. I don't want to take any height away. But it'll serve 2 purposes. By putting a 2x4, or since I have plenty of them, 2x3, I guess. But this is a 2x4 that's in here. I don't see why I couldn't use a 2x3 to go right across, like that, right even with the bottom of the flooring. And then the door can close right up against there. And the door will be made from the top of this to the top of this. We'll measure that. And the door will hinge out, and we'll have to decide whether we want to put the hinges on this side or on this, and I think the hinges should go here. Really doesn't matter where I put the hinges. I can put them on this side, I guess, but I'd have to build this up a little bit with some trim and then put the hinges on top of that. Then the method to my madness is, so we don't have hinges on this because this is in the way, so we can't make a door there, and you can't anyways, because I purposely designed it so it'll be like this. It'll be halfway across the 2x4. So that's the way we're going to do it. Okay, this is what I wanted to do. So the door will close against this. So your door actually will come down here. So what I am going to have to do is put another 2x on top of this. That's not a problem. Just do another one. That means I got to paint up another one. I paint them first and then put it on. Now this is just a watercolor paint. but it's good enough for this. It's not sitting in the ground. The plywood, I definitely use the oil base, but I don't want to use the oil base on everything. I put oil base on here because this was out in the open. Now that I got the roof on here, I don't really have to worry about it, even though it's not no rolled roofing on it yet. So when we get the door closed, yeah, we got to put another 2x here. That's going to bring me out just about a 1/4 inch or so, maybe 3/8 of an inch from here, and the edge of the door will cover that. Just keep the mice out. So the door will sit on top of this. It'll close against this. Well, it won't be able to close against this unless I make the bottom piece wider. I could do that too instead of that. I can make a double 2x on the bottom of this door, or I can put them on the edge. We'll think about this too. We got to cut the door out now. We got to take some measurements. Okay, I've got a double 2x3 down at the bottom, and what's going to happen is the door is going to close against here, and we're going to lay the 2x3s on the flat. So actually, we're going to put a 2x2 in here, so she'll close against that. We got to allow for the thickness of the plywood, so that brings us roughly about up to the second 2x3 here. So we're making the door casing now. I'm making, I shouldn't say door casing, the frame, you know, like I did before. I was going to do them on the flat, but I decided to do them on end, just like I did before. Now, I may have to do some trimming, because this door is going to be on hinges. So when you hinge this open, like for instance, this is the side where the lock is going to be. When it opens, this may hit because of the angle it's coming out. There's about an 1/8 inch clearance between this and the door jamb. If there's a problem with that, I'll have to take the skill saw and just cut a little angle right here so that this goes in properly. But what we're going to do is we'll make the casing now, and we don't have to mark it like we did the other one because we're doing them all flush to the edges here, all the way around on all four. So we'll do some nailing here, but I'm not going to get too much video on this because it's taken too long. This whole project, this video has been too long. We're going to take it up there now and just see if she hinges out where it's supposed to. Before I do any more, because I can always remove these two if I have to bring it in a little bit. But I'd rather not. I'd rather keep them flush to the edge of the plywood all the way around. Be hinged over at the other end. We decided to put the lock at this end. It should be hinged here, let's see. Naturally, we're going to shim up the bottom of the door about an 1/8 inch or so when we do hang the door. Alright, so we'll continue making this up and we'll come back on the video when I'm done with it. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to cut this. Now, I did not put nails in the corners, and I purposely did that because I figured I might have to do that. It was binding, and there's no room on the top left corner. It just binds up there. So I figured I'll shave off probably about 1/8 inch off the bottom here, maybe 1/4 inch, but it's going to be hard to run this saw down there. It's going to be real difficult to run this saw down there and straight. Alright, we're going to have to power plane that. Find some way to hold that up there. Yeah, a little bit more here. We'll try that, see if it fits. Got a good, better than an 1/8 inch here on the top, on this side. And about 1/4 on this side. I'm never going to get perfection now in my work, but I'm happy with it. Okay. What I'm going to do now, see if I can put some hinges on this today and then paint it. Okay, we put a couple of thin paint sticks to get the door so it doesn't drag here. And we're allowing for the 2x4 inside of the door. So we're using these clamps as stops. So it comes here and it will allow for the thickness of the plywood, which is the same thickness as the outside sheathing here. So we're going to set that in place, and then we know where to make our hinges and so forth, where to locate them. And hopefully we don't have to cut this anymore. Now, you got to remember that we're allowing for the sheathing here, alright? But there's no sheathing here, so we got to let this stick out a 1/2 inch, which is pretty close. And same over here. We got the 1/2 inch here, but we don't have it here, so we have to allow for that. And we don't have the molding, so we're not going to be able to put the hinges on today. There's not enough time, I don't think. Not looking too bad. I will have to see if I have to take some out. I might have to take a little out of one side. We'll come back in a little bit here. Okay, that's a lot better. We power planed this. It's not pinching anymore. We're pretty even. And okay, we got it shoved way over to where the hinges are going to be. There's plenty of clearance. Show you on the inside here. We got plenty of clearance right here is where the once we get that up there, and we got plenty of clearance on the top, and we got the 2 shim paint sticks underneath. So we're looking good. So I can paint this now, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint both of these, and that's going to be it for today. We'll get these painted, and then we'll get them up eventually. But I think it's going to rain tonight, so we don't know how much we're going to accomplish, if anything, tomorrow. So we'll get them painted now. I won't be doing any more until the next segment of this video series, so don't go away. I'll be here doing more work. See you later.